I'll say a couple words first to get us going here. First off, thank you all for coming. We're very excited to get year 3 going for the Ville, for TBT. Our enthusiasm is in part because of the excitement built from the last 2 seasons. I think we had a great foundation those 2 years, lots of support from the community, and it's definitely put us on the right foot to get year 3 started. You know, we need support from the community, and getting this all together, we wouldn't be able to do it without partners in this community. So I want to go ahead and thank Planet Fitness. This is very timely right here. Planet Fitness is a big part of this. Bearnose Pizza, Mark Breslin, and Musselman Hotel Group, also a huge part for us. That'll be home for these guys when we're doing training camp, and hopefully throughout the TBT. We'll talk more on that throughout, is a hopeful thing, because the biggest piece for us is being able to sell some tickets right now to get this support. Also, have to thank U of L. Kind of from the top to the bottom, they've been fantastic, and this would be so much more difficult without the university support. From the facilities to setting this up, everybody from Dana Brown, Lottie Stockwell, their team, all the way up to Coach Kelsey, and his excitement. And I think it was awesome to see last year him just getting in the building and seeing what these fans are about. And I told him then, just wait till you get into the Young Center and things are really rocking. But I think he got a great taste last year. Our team and our staff is continuing to evolve, but certainly want to thank Chrissy Banta for helping us from an organizational perspective. She's been really on it, being able to set things up for us, being able to be timely with deadlines. She's been fantastic, so want to definitely reach out and thank her. And she's been a big part of our initial success. So the first hour that tickets went on sale, went live, we sold about 1,200 tickets, which launched us into first by a pretty good margin. But I need to be very clear about this. We need to sell more tickets. The TBT did us no favors with the timeliness here. Obviously, around here, people have been busy the last week with the Kentucky Derby. So now, today, and tomorrow, we need to make a big push. Again, our deadline is 11:59 tomorrow to sell as many tickets as possible. We want to be in first because we want to play in front of the best fans in the world. And if we have the ability to host every game of the TBT in front of the best fans in the world, that will be an incredible advantage for us. As I mentioned, our staff, our roster is evolving, but we've got a tremendous foundation. 2 of the guys I called first from a player perspective, Mr. Rusticulous and Montrezl Harrell. And I don't think anybody's been as excited as those 2 when I had that initial conversation. And then today we get to announce the Davids are going to play. So everybody knows David Johnson, played at Louisville and then was an incredible piece for us last year. He's back, and also David Sloan, who is a Louisville native and was a absolute stud in the TBT last year. Averaged a little over 16 points and 4.5 assists, a 3-level scorer, a great pick and roll player, and is really excited to be a part of this. Growing up in Louisville, his family actually being involved with taking care of Louisville in some capacity, but we're excited to let the community get to know more about him and then his role on the team. So we'll be announcing more players kind of as we go, but we think, again, that's a great foundation for us. And I'm sure you guys are going to ask about building out this roster, but you just kind of have to take it piece by piece and prioritize certain things. And we're excited for how things have started. And then obviously these 2 guys I've known for a long time, have a great relationship with. First and foremost, they're competitors and they're winners. And I wouldn't be able to do it without guys like this. I'm excited that Coach Lieberman and Peyton Siva, Coach Siva, are with us on this journey as well.
Luke, obviously you guys are early in the roster construction front. There's a lot to go on, but so far, what's it like being in the lead chair so far?
You know, being involved from my perspective as like a basketball analyst, I've always said like it's nice because I don't have the stress of wins and losses and that pressure necessarily. So I think I'm excited for the challenge. It's definitely, you feel the pressure a little bit because we want to have this roster done. We want to have all the pieces in place. But again, the tough part is how you have to build it. And it's kind of starting at the top. You know, people have thrown out all kinds of players that they want to be involved, and kind of everyone is on the table, but it's a process. And so that's what we're digging through right now. We've got time. And again, we have a great foundation, but certainly feel the pressure a little bit lately.
And for Peyton and Mark, what's it like being there to help out Luke as he's starting to embark on this journey as a coach?
I would just say this, and I mentioned it to a couple other people. He's got a presence about him, so, and he's a leader. He's a natural leader, so that makes it easy. And even just us talking basketball and getting through all the minutia of the other stuff. I mean, he's got a great eye for the game. He's going to do a tremendous job, and he's understanding what the difference is one seat over. But that's why you always have people around you that can help you and support you. So I'm super excited. I know Peyton is as well. Not speaking for him, but yeah, that's the part that's so much fun, is building this and making it the product that everybody here wants to see.
Just excited to be on this side, working with Luke. Known Luke for a long time from our playing days here at U of L, and continued after that. So I think he's going to do a fantastic job. He has a great relationship with all the players. They respect him as a player. They respect him as a coach. He's been around the game for a long time. Like you said, he was doing his analyst things with ACC Network, but he just has a terrific mind for basketball and understands the nuances in the game and the ins and outs of everything that we need to do out there on the court. So very excited to see where this goes, and excited that the TBT is going to continue here in Louisville.
You guys have all been here with this tournament since the very first year. Could you kind of speak to maybe what you thought this might have been during that first year going into it, and maybe just how much it's grown since obviously having that big game last year versus Kentucky here, and just to be able to make it kind of a staple of the city sports scene during the summer.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have thought it was going to grow to what it did. We had grand ideas, kind of setting this thing up the first year, and you just don't know what you're getting into, and then you don't know what the community support is going to be like. And that's what I was blown away with, is how many people came out and talked about the TBT, got excited for it. I'm gonna say it again, there were lots of people who said, yeah, I'll buy tickets later, and then they couldn't get tickets when the game went on because this thing blew up. And so nobody really knew what to expect with the competitiveness, the unique nature of how the game is structured with that Elam ending. I think is a different kind of basketball, but I did not think I was going to play at all, but the player coach role that first year was really interesting to me, and I just didn't think I would get another chance to put a jersey on and represent the city with those guys, and I think that was one of the most special pieces. And then different roles that I've served now, being the head coach this year, I'm just excited for the opportunity to see it continue to grow, and the buzz is here, and we're very excited.
I wasn't sure Luke was going to play either after the first workout I put him through. But after that, I think, the competitive spirit of him really came out.
He did talk me into it, though. I'm going to make that clear.
And look, that first year, the unknowns, but having guys like these two who I've been around for 15 years, he kind of knew it was going to grow into what we wanted. So, yeah, we all have our doubts, but can't live in your fears, and these two just took the ball and was running with it. It was fantastic.
I'll also say some guys have held up better than others, so you never know if somebody's going to be called into play.
Yeah, I'm taking on the more Luke role, player coach, but I would say from the first year that we started off, you saw the TBT grow year in, year out, and that was a big selling point for me. Like Luke said, just being able to put that jersey on again that first year and getting back out here and playing in front of the best fans in the country, in my opinion, it was special. And then to follow up the next year, with the rivalry, having Kentucky come down here and playing against them, I mean, it was amazing. So I didn't really have a lot of doubts about the fans showing up, but I mean, at the end of the day, we got all these fans coming out to watch their favorite players, players that they grew up watching, getting a chance to play in front of again, and seeing that was truly special. And I can't tell you guys enough how much the fan support meant to not only myself, but I'm sure these guys too, just walking around the city again. And those guys took this game as serious as March Madness, right? Just because of how much they love basketball here in Louisville, and just really enjoyed it. For me, got a chance to play in front of my family who haven't watched me play in the States. So just a little bit of all of that coming into one was really special for us these past couple of years, and to continue to push it forward for these next generation of guys is special.
Luke, being around it, what have you learned? Maybe some things that maybe didn't go as well, and maybe to continue to, advance further? What have you learned the last couple of years of seeing how the roster was put together, or how things were done? Will you change a lot?
Again, a great foundation those first 2 years. We may have a different spin on things this year, but I thought things went really well those first 2 years. I guess in my experience, when you have guys that are a little bit later in their careers, it's really tough to have guys that haven't played for a while. It's a big benefit if you've been part of a competitive season. I think that's one thing. An example, the two foundation pieces I mentioned, Russ Smith and Montrezl Harrell, are coming off playing seasons this year where I think they can be another level, where last year they were coming off of injuries, and so they maybe weren't in that same level of shape. Also think, depth, having a full team and guys that can battle through the adversity, just like any regular game, but it's intense out there. You mentioned it's a tournament style atmosphere. I don't know if I would say it's like the Final Four, but it's big time with that competitiveness. So you need some depth, and then you really got to prepare for the ending, because it's unlike anything I've played in before. But those endings can take forever, or you can have a Russ Smith moment where he comes down and bangs a three, gets an and one, hits another three, and the game is over. So you have to prepare for all kinds of different scenarios. Teams, not just ours, but others, are going to change as well. So you have to be ready for all that.
Can you explain the ticket thing again? How it works, but more on that. What is the goal? What's the reward?
Yeah, trigonometry was a long time ago for me, but I'll try my best. So my understanding is we need to sell at least 4,000 tickets to be kind of considered in that top tier with an opportunity to host. And then whoever sells the most tickets by 11:59 tomorrow will be able to host every game of this tournament. And so, this is my perspective, but I think the TBT was really smart in doing something like this, because if you have alumni teams, there's a big following there. People want to see, old guys like Peyton get out there and play. And so them kind of putting this ticket sale arrangement is really exciting for us. And then, what a huge advantage, right? If we could host every game of the TBT because we dominate the pre-sales, that's going to be a huge advantage for us the whole way. So TBTHoops.com, we need to sell more tickets. We're in a great position now, but there are other programs, other teams that are considering buying 4,000 tickets and just going out and having somebody write that check because it means that much, right? So we're hoping the Louisville community will show up, and then it'll benefit us, our sponsors, this community throughout the whole way. And I'll just say Freedom Hall could be a great host site for us for the first 4 games. And then it's not the Yum Center, and it's not Freedom Hall for those last 2 if we were fortunate enough to go that far. So we could have a great venue for those last 2 games. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback on that. I mean, from a player's perspective, the more fans we get out there, the better, right? Last year, it was moments where we could have folded and crumbled, and our fans picked us up, and what better way to show support for a lot of these guys to get them back in Louisville than our fan base coming out there, showing up in a sea of red. And for those older people who know what Freedom Hall is like, know how loud it gets in there, why not come out there and experience it with your kids? All right, bring your kids, make it a family affair, get everybody out there. It's a fun time. Everybody comes out there. They had tailgating last year in the parking lot. It was just a fun time. We had our guys here at University of Louisville, the men's team and women's team, came out there to watch, and you had Kanai out there running around doing the Cars chant. So it's a ton of fun, man. You guys don't want to miss it. And like Luke said earlier, a lot of people always said they're going to put it off and we're going to buy tickets here and there, and we'll buy tickets, but when that day comes, those tickets are usually sold out and they're scrambling, and it's a shame if you have to miss one of these games.
You talked about the time you checked in during that very first TBT. When was the last
Hoping you
time?
wouldn't bring that up.
When was the last time, prior to that you had been in a game setting playing?
It had been several years. Again, somebody mentioned what you have to prepare for, what you've learned. We counseled several people early on that had maybe been a part of other teams. TBT's been going on a lot longer than 2 years that we've been participating. And the thing that almost everybody told us is that your roster's going to change, your situation's going to change, there are unexpected things that happen. And so unexpected things happen, right? We thought Earl Clark was going to be on our team, and then his contract with the Big 3 didn't work out. And so I was going through a workout with some of the guys, And then it got brought up, well, hey man, you're kind of an insurance policy for us. If we need another guy in there, we're gonna have you as part of the players side. And so that's how adaptable you gotta be. Those are the adjustments you gotta make. That's kind of how it came to be, but it had been a while. And at this point, like, I could still shoot it, but it's the whole other parts of the game, you know, the defense and the running and all that stuff. Mark knows I've been a defensive specialist for some time, but those things are long gone.
Have you had a chance much to speak with Coach Kelsey, I guess, since this is, since this has come about, and then obviously you talk about just how much, he's been backing you guys.
Yeah, his support's been awesome. I'll just tell you kind of a funny story. When I first approached him, I don't know why I was a little nervous, but we've had great conversations. He did say something to the effect of, are you kidding me? This is your program. And it's very Coach Kelsey to do something like that, but he was almost shocked that I asked the question in terms of, what kind of support can we get from you all. He was all in, and again, I think that experience last year of just seeing the fans come to a basketball game in July that people had never really heard that much about with the TBT, and seeing that environment, I mean, it meant a lot. You think about all the players we've had come back and kind of sit on the sidelines. Like Montrez is the best example. That first year, like Russ hits the game winner, Montrez comes off court side to give him the hug first, and then second year, Trez was all in. And then this year, one of my first calls, and he was so excited about it. So I think once you get a taste for it, you just want to be involved in it. And I think Donovan Mitchell has been called as well. He's a little busy right now, so he's not going to be on the roster. But just having guys like that come back, want to watch, want to be a part of it. Even got to see Coach Brahm at the track this past week, and he called me coach, which was really funny. And just talked about how excited he was and that he'd be there. So.
Have you, prior to this, done much coaching? I'm just wondering, like, after your career ended, like, how do you kind of get back into the game and, like, because you've been doing the TV thing for quite some time. Just kind of how did that all kind of come together for you?
I don't think you ever really leave the game. As an analyst, you're constantly talking to coaches. You're watching how programs work. You're seeing practices at times. I've built great relationships over my last 6 years, being involved in TV and then coming back here, being involved in obviously several coaches we've had at U of L. So basketball's in my blood, I guess, and I don't ever want to step away from the game. Coach mentioned it's a little different when you step to that next chair, but being able to lean on guys like this who've had all their different experiences, and then my 2 years, player coach, then a coach, and now the head coach is all going to kind of build, hopefully to something special where we win 6 games this year.
I don't know how much you can talk about it, but to the selfish fans like me, I mean, you've got Coach Siva here, and there's a lot of intertwining between the teams. I mean, is there any kind of mingling between the team for next year and the TBT guys? I mean, like, that you'll have over the summer?
I hope so. A lot of things have been in flux in the summertime, so we 1 year we tried to get a little scrimmage together. It didn't quite come to fruition. I'm not saying that will or won't happen this year, but just to have Coach Kelsey excited about it means a lot. I can't tell you next year's team is going to be involved in anything we're doing, but the whole reason why it's the Ville, we want to keep lifting up this family, this Louisville family. So I will tell you, we've talked to several guys who just finished playing, and the tough part is just timing with all this, because I don't want to be selfish as a TBT coach and say, hey, you got to prioritize this over whatever you're doing as a pro or worry about next year. So it's all about, does this fit, does it make sense, and then trying to create a win-win for these guys. But certainly guys from this roster, we would have loved to have been a part of it. And also that's kind of exciting for us, I think, kind of bridging these different gaps with different coaches coming through, all the way up to Coach Kelsey's guys. We just want to keep lifting up the Louisville family.
At what point do you kind of hope to have your whole team here and to really start training for this tournament?
I would hope yesterday, but we're expecting we're going to do a training camp about a week before and start practicing, get on the same page offensively, defensively, what we're going to do in special situations, and then really work on the ending. That's such a big part of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be guys that only played at Louisville, right? We mentioned David Sloan, but guys who have a tie here are certainly preferred. And so, it'd be easy if everybody held up like, Peyton and Montrez and Russ, and we had our whole 2013 team here. But I talked to Gorgie at the Final Four because it was down near Spurs country. He's not going to play either. Some of us have aged a little bit more than guys like Peyton. So continuity is a big piece. Some teams that have been playing in this thing forever together, they have a big advantage. So that week before is when we really have to lock in.